Overthinking is absolutely crippling, and I know we all do it. This is AP Acharya Prashant telling us a beautiful solution to overthinking. I need you to watch this. This is a beautiful question. Let's take a look. I'm reacting to this off the cuff. I just watched a small intro. Let's take a look.
I'm Tuhina Chatterjee and I'm in first year. So I usually tend to overthink everyday things like everyday situations. Like even if it's just my bus not reaching the destination and things like that. So how do I not let this fear take over myself?
Think of better things, think of more important things.
I fall into this loop of thoughts where I just think about it instead of actually doing it.
Have something in life that overpowers all the random thoughts. I'm talking to you, right?
Yes, sir.
I happen to be a busy person. Hmm? There are so many things that I can alternately think of at this moment. What makes me forget all those things? And frankly, to me, right now you're a stranger. All I know of is your name, to some extent your age, the institutions you're affiliated to. That's all that I know about you. Compared to this, there is so much else that I'm involved in. There is my mission, there's my work, and this is a working day, and so many people are dependent on me for what they're doing. Why am I not thinking of them at this moment? Because this is important. That's all. When you
We got to lock in, my friends. We got to lock in to the present moment, the present circumstances, the things that are in front of us, not the things that are in our minds. That's not part of our current reality. The people in front of us. Presence is everything. Presence is everything. And so I love this simple solution. Now we'll keep watching to see how more in depth he goes, but to just know that what you're doing, everything that you're okay, what you're this video right now, me to you, this is the most important thing to you right now. And so when you can upregulate that what's in front of you is the most important thing, you will stop multitasking, you'll stop half watching, you'll stop judgmental, you'll really try to lean in and see if you can find anything of value here. The people who get the most value out of things, tools, lessons, books, the moment, the experience is the people who are so tuned in. They're locked in and they're leaning in. They're leaning in towards life. And when you're that hyper focused on the person in front of you or what you're doing, as if it's the most important thing in the world, brushing your teeth, making a cup of coffee, this is how you get locked in. And yes, when you have thoughts that are disparaging, negative, critical, anxious, worrisome thoughts, there's a good solution. You have something more meaningful that you can always oscillate to. That you can always oscillate to. I think we're all a vortex of energy. And we use, so this is our vortex, and we use our hyperfocus to focus in on what we want to focus in on. So when our ego, that overprotective little kid that scans the horizon for all possible negative outcomes, it's there as a survival mechanism. We hear it, but we don't focus. We don't go like this and make our hyper focus here. Okay, and now we're looking through the ego, and the ego is very destructive, very chaotic, very fearful, very afraid. That's not you. That's your ego. You're the higher intelligence. You're the spirit. You're the watcher, the observer. And so we can use our hyper focus intentionally. I think intention is a good word here. We should have an intention, a focal point, the things that are beautiful in our lives, that are radiant, that allow the normal to be extraordinary. Not the ordinary, just being boring and dull, and this is what. No, it's extraordinary because you have something in you that is focused in on it. And so there's this poise, there's this ease, there's this effortlessness, there's this lightheartedness in you. You can actually sit back and breathe. Wow. This feels good. I'm just watching a video with my homie Cody, and we're learning, baby. And we're growing. And I got nothing else to worry about because higher intelligence always takes care of my worries. I know that everything that happens is by divine orchestration, so why am I concerned about it? Why am I, from my limited vantage point as a human being, think that I know something is going to be negative that happens to me or not? How am I to even judge that? Thank God that happened. I always try to go, good. Good I lost that job. Good I got out of that relationship. Good on anything. Because how do you even know? And what if we live in a reality where everything's a setup? Setbacks are not real. They're setups to keep pushing you forward, to keep evolving you. That's a beautiful world to live in. And so that's a world that I'm orchestrating in my life. I hope this is recording. I don't think it is. All right, super cool. Okay. I'm going to tell you, it was recording. And so when I stopped recording, I'm going to tell you, I got upset. I didn't go, good. Good that the great intro that I had, the passionate intro, it wasn't recorded. And so I started getting negative on myself. And then I was like, you know what? Good. Good that happened. Because I'll make it better this time. I learned something from that. I'm going to take it in stride. And I pull up the video file and it already recorded. So I'm not going to cut that out. I'm going to keep that in and keep this rolling in because this is how we got to respond to life. We have to be a volunteer in life. That no matter what comes, we own it. We accept it. It's our fate. Let's go, baby. There's something of intrinsic value here. Okay, I'm going to let AB keep talking, but I'm inspired.
Do not have that in your life, which is important. When you do not have a sense of the worthy, the result will be that a lot of little things will invade the mind. There is no way to.
I love all these young people and how they are interested in philosophy or teachings. Like, this is beautiful. I wish America was more like this, where you had young people who wanted to learn an inner technology or spiritual process because, gosh, we are powerful creatures. Powerful. And when you can use your youthful energy in alignment with your spiritual energy, whoo, gosh, you have so much to offer the world. At any age, you have everything to offer the world. But the sooner you can digest life and take care of the baggage that you've compiled, and you can accept it and not be bogged down by that, gosh, it's beautiful. You know, one day I would love to talk to audiences like this. I'm sure I'm far removed from that, but, you know, there's sometimes 50,000 people that tune into to these videos. That's crazy. And I just started. And so I'm always going to be so hyper-focused to think that I am talking to people directly. And it could be 1, or it could be 1,000, or it could be 100,000. And what I have to offer, my light, my energy, my spirit, my zest, my zeal, can encourage someone who's down on their luck, who feels bogged down by their hump of memory, and they believe it's them. And so they're just so bogged down. But I'm just telling you, my friend, there's liberation. There's true freedom within, and I experience it every day. And I wish I experienced it every day all the time, but that's not true. You know, my mind loves to play tricks on me too. But I try to develop my mind. I try to sharpen it. I try to use it as a tool, as a weapon, not as a weapon of mass destruction on myself, but a weapon of conquering myself, overcoming my limitations, and find true liberation and freedom within. I never knew what liberation and freedom was. I didn't really understand that, but it's really just an ease and effortlessness within yourself. And when you have an ease and effortlessness within yourself, you have something powerful and potent. And many people will try to rain on your parade. They'll try to take it away from you. They want you to be as miserable as they are, but you pay it no mind. And these people come into your life, they're just tests. They're just simple tests to not let their vortex of negative energy. When, let's say you're in a Starbucks, a coffee shop. I don't know if you have Starbucks there or not in India. I know when I do these reaction videos, a lot of people from India do watch them. Let's say you're in a coffee shop and everyone's, good energy. And then someone comes in that's super negative and you hear him and he's just nasty. And what happens? He zaps the energy completely out of the room. Everyone goes silent. So you kind of restrict, what's going on? And he controls the energy. There's people like that all over the place. And they're going to try to control your energy. They're going to zap your vortex of energy. And I say that, don't let anybody rain on your parade. If someone comes in like that, dang, dude, that dude's having a bad day. That sucks. I'm going to be just myself, no matter what's going on there. Hey, you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for the coffee. And maybe my spark changes him instead of the other way around. Anyway, I'm getting lost in a little thought bubble here, but let's continue back on the video.
To keep those little things away. They are like germs. They constantly keep attacking you. You cannot keep them away. You can only have a strong inner immunity.
Beautiful, man. So beautiful. I mean, just think about his words. Very simple, but potent. That your negative thoughts, your small problems are like germs. They're going to create dis-ease or disease in your body, in your mind, in your mental faculties, in your emotional body. And so why give them credence? Why make them feel special or important? You have to have something else to focus on. You have to have something beyond the lower processes of the mental faculties. You have to supersede them. Alchemy is a real thing. You can take negative energy within yourself or anxiety within yourself and you can alchemize it. You can transmute it. That's part of the inner process. That's part of inner engineering. That's part of building the iron temple. Absolutely.
Is there a way to keep germs away? Virus or bacteria or other kinds of pathogens? Is it possible? No, they are everywhere. I keep my hand here. They are here. This air that I breathe in, they are in the air. How do I ensure I am 100% shielded against them? Not possible. However, there is one thing that is possible, which is my inner immunity. And that inner immunity is called importance. Know what is important. And them random things will...
That's so good, my friends. That's so good. Do you understand this? Do you really understand the deep value, the deep wisdom in what he's saying? Like, we make the most stupid things important. We make the most trivial things important. And we sabotage our happiness and our effectiveness because we give so much importance to stupid stuff. So part of maturity is cutting that stuff out of your life and giving it no meaning or merit. It's focusing on the higher value things in your life. Listen, I'm a go-getter. I think we should be productive in life. And that doesn't mean that you have to be super uber successful out there in the material world. There's nothing wrong with the material world. But like the inner production, like I feel like every human being should show up each and every day and have an absolute obsession to building himself. Like I love the idea of being a craftsman, a master of something. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's important to anyone else but you. What is that inner calling, that inner passion that you love to do every day? Maybe it's playing the guitar. Maybe it's singing. Maybe it's playing the piano. Maybe it's, I'm not against opposed to video games. Maybe you want to use video games to become a master at something, to go professional and be part of a professional scene for your country. I think that's beautiful. Like, it doesn't matter. And a lot of people will try to belittle your passion. And yes, I mean, I believe in today's culture, you can monetize anything. I believe anything. I believe, if you were really good at PC games, you could become a PC coach. You could, maybe you get paid professionally, right? But You could do coaching lessons for people who want to learn that game. There's millions of people that play these games. Someone's probably going to want to pay you to teach them because, you built a skill set. There's so many ways to monetize your life. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that I love that shift, that that it's a service industry. Your beautiful presence and what you can offer to the world should be monetized in some way. There should be an exchange of value. Anyway, I digress.
Cease to matter. Them random things
Importance.
will cease to matter.
Don't give it importance.
If you find yourself thinking about unimportant matters too much, it just means that there is a huge inner vacancy for something important, and
Wow.
that vacancy has not been filled. The mind cannot tolerate a vacuum, a vacancy.
That's interesting to know. So I believe that our hyperfocus should be on the presence of what we want to be, to aspire to be. I aspire to be a great author, a great motivation speaker, a great speak rapper, a great person who has an online university that teaches men, women about confidence, fitness, psychology, spiritual evolution, law of attraction, law of assumption, like all these things that I feel like a toolkit for life. I want to build a toolkit for life in every conceivable category for people. And that's my focus. But if I let go of that focus and I'm like, I don't give it enough weight, I say I'm too far removed from that possibility, it's not happening quickly enough, and I go back into the negativity, or I don't ponder it anymore, so I don't show up as strong. I don't have a mission anymore, and so I'm just kind of dabbling. There's a good word for this, actually. It's a really good word for it, and I want to think about it because, there's this book that I read, Drifting. Yeah, it's called Drifting, where you're kind of aimless, and you just start drifting. You're a drifter. You don't really have a strong purpose to show up every day. And I think that's a recipe for a terrible life, a miserable life. And that's why I think we need a high aims, chief aims, worthy pursuits. Yeah. Because if we don't have that, then the mind reverts by default to the gutter. It doesn't just have a clean vacuum, like he says. It reverts to the gutter. The worry, trepidation, anxiety, all of that. Let's keep listening.
The mind needs something to chew. You cannot just abruptly bring the mind to a thoughtless state. Not possible. So what to do? As students, as beginners, what to do? Determine what is important.
Determine.
Honestly give it due credit. And I like to say, fall in love with it. Make it your life.
There you go.
Then there will be no space.
There you go. So he's saying the same thing. Fall in love with your passion. Look at the samurai. Look at the absolute devotion to everything that they did every single day was samurai. Their mind and their mental landscape was samurai. Their sword training was samurai. Their physical conditioning was samurai. Everything was samurai. So what passion do you have? Like, can you have a hyper obsession? The way he says it, fall in love with it, make it your life. I think the true word is obsession. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think we need to be obsessed for something. The mind works amazingly when we have a full-fledged vision for our life or an obsession that no matter if you get there or not, if you want to be the world champion at kickboxing, cool. Why not you, man? Why not? And guess what? All the positive thinking isn't going to carry you through. It's doing the stuff required that you don't want to do, that no one else is going to do. But you do it. You do hard things. That's the getting in life. Like, there's a pain requirement to get great at anything. That's so beautiful. That's so amazing. Like, think about, the human body and just getting six pack or like a big chest or, muscles. Dude, there's a pain requirement. And that's with any skill. Your brain, your mind loves pain. Now, it doesn't love suffering. There's a big difference between pain and suffering, right? Right? Suffering is kind of our own creation. It's a chosen recipe that doesn't actually have to be a part of life at all. It's not a part of life. It's a part of our mental brain, and it's self-induced. All suffering is self-induced. I used to think it was out there. No, it's all self-induced. It's how we interpret life, interpret the things that happen to us. That's suffering. We don't have to suffer, but we do have to go through pain. Pain is a requirement in life. And believe me, if you're trying to learn anything hard, even if it's not like a physical thing, it's mentally tiresome, mentally painful. That's a good thing. And not only is it a good thing for the brain and the mind, if you expend all your energy over an absolute obsession, you will go to sleep and you'll sleep very deeply every single night. Because when you expend energy, you get a huge reward. You get a great deep night's sleep. And you produce a ton of stuff. So my friends, work tremendously hard towards something. Even if you don't have a plan for your life, it's like, okay, well, I love this. So I'm just going to spend my time, do all my free time doing this. I think that's beautiful. Like, people think that like talent is some type innate, oh, that person's special. No one is special. They just were obsessed. They were absolutely committed and devoted, and they put in all their extra energy into that thing. If you want to change your life, that's all it takes. Is it easy? No, because the mind's soft. It loves comfort. Your feelings will always tell you to do the easy things. That's why AP and me say you have to override your feelings. Your feelings will try to tell you what's important, and you oftentimes shouldn't do what you feel. AP did a whole video on this. You should do what you must, which is that work required, the template for success, which is doing the things that no one wants to do, even yourself, even your own brain, even your own mind. You have to do. Can 2025 be this for you? A new operating manual within yourself to do the things you must and never do the things you feel? You have no idea what you can create and orchestrate within if you keep that alive within you for a full year. You got to let me know in the comments if that's something you commit to or it resonates with you or it makes sense. Because I think this is a really good message for anyone who's gotten this far in the video. I really do. And I really hope this serves you.
Space to think of random things. And I like to say, fall in love with it. Make it your life. Then there will be no space to think of random things.
So when my mom died, she died back in 2020. I had a void in my life, and I knew that if I didn't have an absolute obsession, my mind was going to freak. And so the way I was able to navigate that was I absolutely obsessed over one thing, and it was called disc golf. You can YouTube it here. Disc golf. It's a sport. They have a professional scene, a pro tour scene, and I played probably 6-8 hours a day every single day. And that was including practicing and all that stuff, or watching YouTube videos on how to get good at it. And I got to a pretty proficient level. Am I a touring professional? No. But all that time and focus, you guys have to realize, the world's changing. I don't know what it's like where you live, but people don't have the same job for 50 years anymore. People change jobs a lot, and they also change industries. What's it called? Just whole different levels of different careers. I've had 200 different careers, it feels like. And so it gives you a buffet of experience. And Steve Jobs says this best. He's the one who invented Apple, by the way, the Macintosh. He took a calligraphy class as an elective in university. And that was a class that made him have all the best aesthetics for his products. The iPhone, the Macintosh, whatever. without that class, which was, again, not related to anything he was wanting to learn, he would not have had invented such classy aesthetic products. So, dude, think about it. Everything that you're doing, if you're half-assing it, you're not growing. And you'll never be able to use that to your benefit. But are you absolutely obsessed, even as working at McDonald's? And that's where you're at right now in your life? Dude, do it with everything. When you show up, no matter what's going on in your personal life, turn on that hard worker. That worker that's there to serve other people, to help your coworkers, to be the guy who is willing to do anything. Do you know how many promotions someone like that gets? And how he could become like a district manager probably quicker than he ever realized because he just has a passion for what he's doing? Guys, this is what we all need. Obsession or hyperfocus.
And is that not beautiful? Life is pestering you with all the normal trivia. And yet you are not bothered. Why? Because there is a mighty inner thing you have embraced.
Yes.
And you simply don't have the
Nope.
time, the space
Nope. Sorry.
to look towards anything else.
Nope. Yeah. Sorry. My focus is too important.
Is it hot? Yes, it is.
Looks hot.
Is it cold? Might be. Are you hungry? Probably yes. Do you need a little more money? Of course I do. Care for better clothes? Why not? But so sorry. In spite of all these things that I might potentially care for, I am occupied.
Occupied. That's a good word. Occupied. I'm occupied. Instead of wishing and wanting and all that. I mean, again, we want a chief aim, right? We want to have a good visual of who we want to be inside and outside and the things that we want to have in our life and assume we have those things because that's going to give us the gusto, the occupation within that we have so much to focus on because we have such this big vision. And we think about it, we taste it, we touch it, we smell it, we breathe it, we make it so real that we're occupied by that vortex of energy. We're occupied. So we cannot be bogged down by the little nuances that used to take our focus very effortlessly because we did not know that our power, our superpower, is our focus. So we just gave it away freely, unconsciously. We gave it to anyone who wanted to take it away from us. A news program, a TV show, a guy on YouTube. Wink, wink, hint, hint. This is a good occupation, though. But I love this. Occupied, man. You got to be occupied. You got to be obsessed.
Nobody will ever have enough money. Nobody will ever be able to say, I do not need more clothes or better clothes. Nobody will ever say, all my desires are now satisfied. That's not going to happen. Nobody will ever say the situations are all perfect. No. Those things will continuously remain, just like the pathogens we talked of. But along with them, taking precedence over them, an inner sense of importance can remain. And that has to be developed. It won't just come. As a young person, you need.
Okay, so sharpening your mind, focusing your mind is a developmental process. It's not given freely. So you have to learn. So I was a valedictorian in my high school. And I think the only reason I was because, and I did a lot of things outside of just grades. I had a job, 2 jobs, and I played sports. It was a lot. But all I had to do, I love the structure schedule, by the way. That was really nice for me. And I wish I had something a bit more like that today. Being an entrepreneur, it's a lot harder to stay structured, to be honest. And so I'm always trying to work on that personally for myself. But my point is like for 45 minutes or however long that class was, all I cared about, all I focused on was that information. I loved learning. I always have loved learning. And so whatever I was learning, I didn't have any, kind of like when you go to work. I was able to go to work and cut off any personal problems. So if I had a death in the family, no one would know about it. I knew how to cut myself, fragment myself like that, and focus in on whatever I needed to be for the community. Okay? So that's our job, is to cut off the BS that's in us, that's bogging us down, and focus. Focus extremely. So extreme. So radical that we're occupied fully by what we're involved in. We're fully involved. We're not, you got to get out of this multitasking stuff. You know, the multitasking is a disease for the human brain. It's teaching you bad habits. What I would suggest you do is to stop trying to multitask with anything. Okay? If you're on your phone and someone's asking you a question, literally say, hey, give me just 1 second as you're finishing up what you're finishing up, and then set it down and go, what were you saying? That is the way you want to train your brain. Just like when you're in the gym, dude, there is a work process. And when I go to the gym, every minute is accounted for. I even time my my breaks in between sets and reps, because it depends on, what I'm doing. But like, that's the intentionality we want, the occupation we want with our own mind. We are so deliberate in our own thought processes instead of being so unconscious all the time. That development is what he's talking about.
Need to figure out very clearly what is worth doing, what is important in life. Else, you're traveling to the college and you're looking out of the bus window and you see something happening, something by chance, the usual trivia, and it will capture you. And you'll find yourself thinking about it 30 minutes. 30 minutes of life gone. On nothing. And that's how most of us simply waste away our entire life. On nothing in particular. So what did you do your entire life? Nothing in particular. Though I was always occupied. But what did you do? Nothing in particular. Okay, let's say.
So I love this because he's making a distinction between what is occupying us. Like, he's saying there's a lot of meaningless stuff that we occupies our mind, right? So there's also the stuff that I talked about, the higher obsessions, the things that's going to build skill in you, ability, capability. Listen, life is not free. You don't just get handmaids, especially as men. It's not free at all. You have to build yourself, and we got to get over that. Weak men don't want to. They just want to be given everything. And I understand. I get it. I thought the world sucked too. But build yourself, not just to be able to have a quality life, materially, but build yourself because you can be a weapon for good, for humanity. The more you sharpen your tool, the more wisdom you procure, the more knowledge you obtain, the more experiences you go through, the more adventures you go on because you have the courage to try new things, you can instill this into other people. You'll become a great teacher, a great coach, a great mentor. Maybe that's to a son, a child, a friend, a colleague, a brother. Like, guys, life is a crazy wild adventure, and we got to stop pretending that it's just this crazy over-obsession of multitasking, and it's frying our brains. It's making us retarded.
You get a 1 week break. A Diwali break, let's say. 10 days break. And somebody asks you, what did you do actually? Is that not an honest answer? Nothing in particular. And that's what happens when you have nothing really important to do. You do nothing.
Boom. Aimlessness, drifting. I didn't do anything in particular. What do you do with your free time? Are you building anything? Are you building your body? Are you building your mind? Are you building a business? Are you building a grand vision, a grand idea? Why not? Why not? We just want to be handed it. We don't want to do the work. My channel's here to inspire the work. I wish I had some water. My throat's getting dry.
Thing.
Okay, I'm going to end the video there because my throat really is getting dry. But my point is guys, this is great information. We love AP. We love AP to death. He's a great man, a great philosopher, a great mind, a great intellect. And I hope one day I get the opportunity to do a podcast with him and have an hour-and-a-half interview, and we have a great epic conversation. I'm gonna assume the law of assumption is gonna happen. I'm gonna attract it by feeling it and expecting it. You know, the one thing I do know that I had when I was definitely youthful is I had high expectations for my life. I had high expectations, and I just pretended that. And people are like, oh, well, you don't want to think like that because then, like, what if it doesn't happen? Aren't you going to be disappointed? And so many people think that way. They don't think bigger or expect things to happen because they don't want to be disappointed. What a terrible way to live. What a depressing way to live. So, hey, I'm going to do this right now. I don't care if I look like a fool. He's got 55 million YouTube followers. I don't care. I'm going to assume and create an expectation, an intention that this man will find my video. He'll hear my message or member of his team, and they'll reach out and they'll say, hey, Cody, we would love to do a podcast with you. And maybe that takes a while, maybe it doesn't, but why would I expect that not to happen? Because, guys, you just got to believe. You got to have that naivete, that youthful naivete that, like, things are going to happen for you. Why feel otherwise? Why? Please don't do that to yourself. It's miserable. I've been there. We're not going to assume in 2025 the things that we don't want. We're going to assume with high expectations that we're going to get everything that we need, baby. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. It was a long one, but hopefully it was worthwhile. If you followed this, if you've gone this far and you haven't followed the page already, I'd really appreciate that. And if you can like and comment to help the algorithm to push this out to other people who could benefit from this messaging, I'd really appreciate that too. Love you guys very much. And I'll see you guys on the next reaction video. Take care for now. Bye-bye.